Incoming transmission.
Welcome, Watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion. It's the 19th of September. It's time for another review. What have I got for you today? Have a look at this little beauty. Yes, it's Tetris on the ZX Spectrum. Yes, I'm doing quite a few Spectrum reviews lately, but you know, it was my first computer. I have a little bit of a soft spot for this one. But I've never played this on the Spectrum. Played it on the Game Boy, played it on the PS3, played it on a variety of different systems, to be quite honest. Didn't know that there was a Spectrum version available, and this is 128K with absolutely gorgeous music by the one and only Mr. David Whittaker, who also did a lot of stuff for Codemasters. In fact, he's got such a unique style that you can tell by playing, any game really that's got a David Whittaker soundtrack. It's just so unique the way he does his music arrangements. You can tell it's a Whittaker track, and this is no exception to that rule. Now, how good is this? Yeah, okay, it's Tetris, but how many colours on screen? It's really nice, and there's no clash, which is also very nice. It's just such a classic game, and I can't believe I've never played this on the Spectrum before. What a great little game. It's basically the same game you'd play on any other system, but on a Specky. It's great. Look at it. Okay, yeah, the colours, when there's two colours and they're the same, they kind of meld together, but you can forgive that. The screen size is great. You've got a really nice big playing area here, and I would say control-wise is very simple. I've selected joystick. The scrolling screen at the start was very quick, so I had to sort of read that very fast to find out how to access the option screen. It is actually O, in case you wanted to play this game yourself and you couldn't figure it out because the scrolling is so fast. But yeah, you press O, you get the options, you get Sinclair joysticks, you get Kempston, which is what I'm playing on now, and keyboard options as well, which is fantastic. Good amount of options. Now, you can see here how quick, once you've actually aligned your piece to the part of the screen that you want it to, you press the down button to speed it up. Now, you normally would think that would just drop it at a slightly faster pace, but this isn't the case in this game. It literally drops it instantly into place, and you've got to be careful that you don't hit two in a row because you've still got your finger on the down button. I think like just there actually. But you know what? That's such a small thing, I can forgive that completely. The colour scheme's great on this game. You can tell instantly it's Tetris. They haven't really sacrificed anything to make it in like Pac-Land, for example, where the scrolling was forsaken for, I imagine, lack of memory or whatever. But this has sacrificed nothing. You get all the pieces that you normally get in a Tetris game. You can see at the top as well, I'm on level 0. I wanted to start on level 0 because you do advance through the levels as you pick up your lines. Now, I've made 17 lines already, and I don't know how many lines you've got to do to pick up levels, but we'll keep an eye on that anyway. But it does get harder. And if you reach the top of the screen, if you've never played Tetris before, and if you haven't, where have you been? But once you reach the top of the screen, you can't go any further. It is game over, and I think that's it sticks to the traditional Tetris, which is fantastic, and the music's great. I know it's not the traditional dun 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 soundtrack, but there might be reasons behind that which I'm not completely sure about. It could be copyright issues, because I imagine at the time Nintendo probably had this on the Game Boy already, so there may have been issues around using that soundtrack. I don't know. If you know the answer, drop it in the comments. I always like to learn. And you guys have the answer sometimes that I've asked in the past in my reviews. Do you know the answer? You guys have come up trumps, which is fantastic, and I love the interaction with you guys as well. Oh, by the way, welcome to new subscribers. It's great to have you along. Glad you're enjoying the content, and there's much more to come, ladies and gentlemen, as well. Okay, so we are on level 1 now. I think maybe about 20 lines we got that. Wasn't paying attention. Let's see if we can get to level 2. So you can see as you go, you break up the blocks, very much like you would in any other version of the game. Brilliant stuff. I love the fact that each piece has a different colour as well. And they're not using a garish colour scheme, they're basically just using your magenta, red, blue, cyan, white, yellow, green. It's just a nice variety of colours to denote the different pieces. I think it's really, really cool. And I was blown away by this, quite honestly, because for such a simple game, it's got so much playability and replayability. I think Sega tried to replicate the success with Columns, and I think they did actually. I think Columns was very popular alternative to Tetris, because obviously Nintendo had the rights to Tetris, so Sega got to come up with something, and Columns was there offering in the same sort of ilk. I think both games are absolutely brilliant. But it's actually quite a relaxing game to play at this level. It does get a bit manic in later stages, so be aware of that. I mean, if you're absolute pro, then you can change the start level, as you saw at the start of the video. I was able to select my skill level. Now we're on level 2. So if you want the challenge, and like level 0 to, I don't know, level 9 is too easy for you, go for the top level and have some fun with it. It's a great game. It is one player. That's not really a massive issue on a game like this, though, is it really? I mean, a turn-based game doesn't quite work with this, but oh well. Made a bit of a bodge on dropping that tile, didn't I? Let's see if I can sort that out. But it's a relaxing game to play, and I don't think, with puzzle games, sometimes there's the ripping your hair out element to it, and I don't really think that there's that much of that going on. The only time I think you get frustrated with Tetris is if you are really hinging on the one shape and you never get it. I think that's really the only time you can get frustrated with this game. But other than that, it's a joy to play, and it's very faithful to the original. So, the Specky has done a great job. Obviously, like I said, this is the 128K version, so you do get music as you play. And, like I said, the one and only Mr. David Whittaker. And it's really cool. It reminds me a lot of... which game was it that he did? It's very similar. The Dizzy games, obviously. That's one of the ones that I remember him for. But there was another Cody game that he did with a soundtrack that's quite similar to this. I'll have to look it up, because I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it does remind me of another one of his tracks. But you can see now the screen is now filling up a bit, and it's going to get a bit more awkward now. I've got up to 57 lines. That's not bad, actually. 58, and we're not at level 3 yet. We'll see what happens. But you can see how smooth it is as well. It's not jerky. It drops the pieces quite nicely, even if, you can just let them go to the bottom of the screen. You don't have to hit the down button. It just does speed things up a little bit, especially if you've got a dead cert on one of the pieces that drops and I need that to go in that particular place. So you can speed things up yourself. You play at your pace until the game speeds up. There you go, level 3 now. So things are actually going a bit faster, as you can tell. No noticeable slowdown from the amount of pieces on the screen either, which is really good. And if you're a Tetris fan, you're going to love it. If you've never played Tetris before, here's a good time to start. And I think I might have just botched this up completely, but there you go. I shall leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you have, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye for now, ladies and gents.